Greetings. Let's see 5, Unit 14, Charles Lamb's Dissertations upon a Roast Pig. So let's see what we are going to see in this unit. This unit will have the reader's confidence in appreciating Lamb's subtle thematic strands involving humor, pathos, and intrinsic appeal of the essay. The write-up is meant to provide clarity and expression, leading the reader to comprehensive understanding of the essay. The questions under the self-check category will provide the reader opportunities his or her grasp of the essay. Lamb's essays usually bear the stamp of his versatile personality, hence a brief analysis of the author's biography seems to be indispensable in the 45 with clarity and precision. Working understanding of the essay then will lead the reader to explore the more nuanced attributed of Lamb's characteristic humor. Finally, the comment on Lamb's prose style will give the reader much needed fillip in grasping not only the essay and its theme and style, but also a cursory glance at the developments of the contemporary period. So let's see, as we have seen Charles Lamb as an essayist, right? Let's see the autobiography. The English author, critic, and minor poet Charles Lamb, his lifespan between 1775 to 1834, is best known for the essays he wrote under the name of Elia. He remains one of the most loved and read of English essayists. Lamb's literary career began in 1796 when Coleridge published four of Lamb's sonnets in his own first volume, Poems on Various Subjects. In 1798, Lamb published his sentimental romance, A Tale of Rosamund Grey, and together with Charles Lloyd, a friend of Coleridge, brought out a volume entitled Blank Verse. By 1801, Lamb had begun to contribute short articles to London newspapers and to write plays in an effort to relieve the poverty he and Mary endured. In 1802, he published John Woodville, a blank verse play which enjoyed no success. And on the night of December 10, 1806, his two-act farce, Mr. H was greeted by 100 hisses at the Drury Lane Theatre. So let's see the given essay, a dissertation upon a roast pig. The narrator opens the essay by asserting that for a long period of early human history, people did not cook their meat but ate it raw. He claims that this was hinted at in the writings of Confucius, who mentioned an era as the cook's holiday, implying that the Chinese did not cook animals prior to his writings. According to the narrator, Confucius' essay goes on to describe how roasting was discovered by Bobu, the son of swineherd Hoti. So let's see the analysis. All right, we can see some more about this. Okay, as we have seen after this analysis. Among the most light-hearted of Lamb's essays is this freewheeling comic dissertation on the pleasure of eating roasted pig. It features a copious use of the literary device of hyperbole, with Lamb going to all sorts of eccentric ends to exalt the flavor of roasted pork. The logic of hyperbole is also evident in Lamb's use of a heightened tone to tell the absurd story of how roast pork was discovered after a house fire in China. Once again, Lamb construes the literary devices and narrative forms in such a way that he manages to sneak some fiction into his essay work. The fable he constructs speaks to how odd it is that humans eat cooked animals at all. So the themes which he narrated here, that many of Lamb's essays revolve around imaginative conceits, and the world that Lamb describes is most easily understood through his wild imagination. This plays out in novel fantasies such as the days of the month partying together and a boy eating a pig burnt by a house fire, as well as in the fabrications of something similar to Lamb's own life, such as the made up workers in the South Sea House or his fiction children in Dream Children Reverie. The innovation that Lab brought to the essay was this very sense of the imagination, helping expand the form from its philosophical roots. Okay, so here, now we can see, right? Let's discuss some more points on the dissertation upon roast pig. So, according to an old Chinese manuscript, man ate raw meat for 70,000 years. Man discovered the art of roasting only by an accident. As per this text, the manuscript gives an account of the swineherd Hoti. When Hoti left for the woods one day, his cottage was under the care of his eldest son called Bobo. This boy loved to play with fire. He allowed some sparks of fire to get into a bundle of straw. Gradually, the flames developed and the poor mansion as reduced to ashes. Along with the house was burnt a fine litter of 9 pigs. This litter was more important than the building because China pigs were considered to be a luxury. Bobo was deeply worried because of the loss of pigs. As he was crying, he smelled a new fragrance and his mouth began to water. Unable to explain these things, he bent down to feel the pig. In this process, he burned his fingers and to cool them, he applied them to his mouth. A part of the scorched skin of the pig came out with his fingers, and for the first time in the history of the world, he tasted. He repeated this experience. At last, he knew that the new smell he had came from the pig. Then he started eating the roast pig. At the time, there came his father who began to abuse and beat the boy. Bobo did not pay any attention to his treatment till he had completed eating. The inquiries made by the father revealed that Bobo was having a delicious experience with the roast pig. Hurty cursed his son and himself, but Bobo, guided by the smell, brought out another roast pig. He tore the skin and asked his father to eat the burnt pig. Hoti was wondering whether he should not kill his son for this unnatural thing. But as he held the pig with his fingers, the fingers were burnt and he put them into his mouth. The same thing what happened to his son, right? Slowly he came to relish it. Both father and son sat down to eat, and they got up only after they had eaten all the burnt pigs. Hoti asked Bobo not to reveal the secret to others. The neighbors would have stoned them to death because of their new way of eating the pig. Still, strange stories were spread. People noticed that Hoti's cottage was being burnt more frequently now. The fires were observed in the day and the night too. Hoti was no longer found rebuking his son. The neighbors watched them and they at last discovered the secret. Hoti and Bobo were taken to Peking for trial. There they were duly tried. Just when the judgment was about to be given, the foreman and the jury wanted some of the burnt pig to be produced. All the members of the jury handled it, and burning their fingers, they put their fingers into their mouths. Then they declared that Hoti and Bubu were not guilty. Later, the judge purchased all the pigs of the town. In a few days, his house was observed to be on fire. Then it followed that every house was on fire. Throughout the district, fuel and pigs became very costly. Insurance offices were closed. After a long time, a practical philosopher like Locke invented a cheaper way of roasting the flesh of pigs and other animals. The costly method described in the Chinese manuscript is worthy of the pig. It is worthy because the roasted flesh of the pig is the most delicate of all delicacies. It must be a young pig which is less than a month old and which is called a crackling. The plate on the dinner table is his second cradle. Such a pig is beautiful and good. Elia might enjoy certain things when his friends taste them. But on the question of the pig, he is stubborn, he himself must taste the pig. Ours, our ancestors were very particular about the way they sacrificed such tender animals. How will a pig taste when it is whipped to death? The young students of St. Omer discussed a similar problem. If the pig killed by whipping adds a new taste to the roasted flesh, is death by whipping justifiable? Whatever be the decision, the young pig is a weakling of flour. So, like other essays of Lamb, this is also an autobiographical essay. It reflects Lamb's Epicurean taste, his liking of delicious dish, like that of a roast pig. Though Lamb calls the essay a dissertation, it is not a formal treatise. Throughout the essay can be seen a vein of humor and fun. So Lamb believes that the practices of roasting pigs originated in China. A manuscript which was read out to him by his friend Thomas Manning told the story that the art of roasting was discovered accidentally. Once the cottage of a shepherd caught fire and his 9 young pigs were burned to death. From the burnt bodies of the pigs, the son of the shepherd experienced an alluring odor. As he searched for the source of the smell in the ashes, he stooped down to feel a pig if there were any signs of life in it. He burned his fingers and, in order to cool them, he put them into his mouth. In this way, he happened to taste the roast skin of the pig. Now and then, leaving some pigs to get roasted on it. Gradually, a wise man suggested them not to burn their cottages but roast pigs on gridirons. Lamb considered the roast pig as one of the best delicacies in the world. Of all the delicacies in the whole mundane edibles, I will maintain it to be the most delicate. So, thus the essay reveals Lamb's Epicurean taste. His mouth waters at the very thought of the taste of crackling. A roast pig is the greatest delicacy in the world. Lamb wants to enjoy every good thing in the world. There is a charming self revelation in this essay. Lamb was a kind hearted man, but his preference for pigs, which have been whipped to death, is against his nature. It horrifies us, and it is very difficult to believe it about Lamb. The essay is full of fun and humor. The story of accidental discovery of cooking or burning is quite humorous. The various anecdotes narrated by Lamb provide occasions of fun and humor, which was an essential trait of Lamb's. So the roasted pig is humorously called Mundus edibles and the chief of the dainties. There can be nothing but humor in remarks such as see him in the dish, his second cradle, how meek he laid. The pineapple is a humorous simile for the pig. In short, the essay is full of fun and humor. The essay should be read with a spirit of light, fun, and laughter. So, thank you.